you know, my kids, I'm sure, have thought that I'm like a larger-than-life figure, you know, and they get to see me drop to my fucking knees.
And that's what I want to ask you about. Going through the whole, like, you have to, everything happened, you get exposed. What was the conversation with your kids like, and how did they respond?
The conversation with my kids was almost identical to the apology email, the apology video, because we sat down at the table, and I looked at them, and fuck. You know, I told them that I lied to them. And fuck, man.
Were they like, why the fuck have we been eating all this liver bullshit? Some goddamn Skittles or something like that. This is disgusting. I'm dying. Why am I eating bone marrow? Give me a hamburger.
At the end of the conversation, they said that they're not eating liver or testicles that day. You know?
We're boycotting balls today, Dad.
But that's a conversation I had with them is I've been lying to you. And I'm on steroids.
Yeah.
I was on steroids, I'm on steroids. Here's why I justified it. All that was wrong, you know, and I feel horrible about doing that, you know, and probably I regret most, like, I feel like I've let a generation down, you know, of young people and my kids, you know, to mislead them. So what I said to them is almost identical to the apology video. And, you know, and then Liver Queen's like, you guys understand? And they're like, yeah, we understand. I said, you guys understand also that there's going to be a lot of comments to you guys about what a piece of shit your dad is. There's going to be a lot of other comments, grown men saying hurtful stuff to you guys. And, you know, I know my job as a dad. It's pretty simple. It's to affirm my kids with the depth of challenge, worth, and potential so that one day they come to believe in themselves. And so I have to also protect them along the way. I've not yet completed that job, right?
Do you regret putting them in videos and stuff before that?
Do I regret it?
Yeah.
No, I don't, because my kids have such a unique story to tell. You know, one of my kids, Rad, has been through this incredible health crisis that has been recovered because of ancestral living. And you know how many other kids are going to be able to learn about this because of his exposure, his ability to tell that story.
I could also see it, you know, Jordan Peterson and his daughter went through a similar thing. I don't know, his daughter was battling a lot of, I don't know what the diseases were, but she went on a strictly meat diet.
Yeah.
You hear about this?
Yeah.
And I think Jordan even went on a strictly meat diet. Like, it's just meat and fucking water.
Yeah.
That's it. And he said it's really alleviated a lot of depression. Like, she had a bunch, I don't know if it was like an autoimmune disease or something like that.
I think it was something to that effect.
And she said that is completely, you know, cleaned that up. So clearly there are things that you can do to augment whatever situation has been presented by your body. And while I see on the outside someone going, oh, this guy's exploiting his kids for his business, I could also see from the inside you going, someone else might have fucking kids who can't breathe, and they're gonna get to see how my kids' lives completely change doing this ancestral living. Yeah. And I think that is the beautiful thing about vulnerability and honesty. But you can't have the vulnerability with the character.
Yeah.
And I wonder if moving forward, we get to see more Brian Johnson.
You know what? This is my commitment. You know, I've had enough people close to me who have said the best podcast you ever did was Diary of a CEO, because this is the one that you were the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I thought, are you serious? Like, and then I would ask 5 other people, and then most of them said the same thing, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, like, I'm learning something, you know, and so it's not real easy. I'd never had any exposure in the public eye. I'd always been a very private person. I never wanted to actually do this. You know, it wasn't until I had enough conversations, people coming over to my house saying, what y'all do is fucking crazy. What you guys do, they need to make a movie about you. You need to go on social media.
Oh, yeah.
That's why, and then you hear that enough times, and I'm like, you know, like we went out to butcher a cow at Liver King Ranch, and then after taking everything out of it, we put our kid inside of the cow, because they've done this in a movie. You know,
Star Wars?
Revenant, I believe, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, yeah.
He gets inside of a horse. And so then Rad puts his head out. We all take a picture. And you're like, oh, this is what we do. We're having a good time. Everybody gets bloody. Everybody is has their hand on the animal and has the respect for the animal. Yeah. And you hear that enough times, like, okay, fuck it. You know what? Like, I think you might have a point, because the message, the vision of all my companies is the same. You know, it's to acknowledge how desperately people are hurting, and there's a simple solution. It's called ancestral living, right? And how can I do a better job at this? And let me try the social media thing. And so we started trying the social media thing, and I'm like, wow, you know, like this is working out. But not having any experience sharing all my private shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sharing everything. And I appreciate you saying that. It seems like I know how to handle myself on a podcast, because this was amongst what I was terrified most to do. I mean, if you look at some of my first videos, they're horrific. And so this is what I'm figuring out is how to blend, my truest self, and to be vulnerable. And this is what I say a primal is. It's your wild, raw, first version self, your undomesticated self. And when you can be vulnerable and connect, like immediately, instead of telling lies and being cool and all that other shit, it's like there's so much more that comes from that. I know this.
Yeah.
And so it's taken this experience to say, okay, like enough people have spoken, and this is my commitment, is to share it all. Especially the vulnerable pieces. Because you know what? Like, not every day I wake up saying, it's prime time. I don't feel like it. I say it. And, there's a lot of days I wake up and I feel like shit. And every once in a while, I've said this on my story. I'm like, I woke up today and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go force myself to get in the cold plunge to feel better. And then I would get DMs.
That's more motivational to me.
Yeah.
Well,
because I feel like
wake up
shit.
feeling like that more than I wake up saying it's prime time or whatever you say.
Well, thank you for saying, because this is what I'm realizing. I've gotten enough feedback to just be like, you know what? Be 100% honest about how you're always feeling. And I've gotten favorable feedback about, hey, you feel like, oh, guess what? You're a fucking human too. I go through that all the time.
Yeah.
And I've got enough DMs through this process of people that were fans, haters, and left, and now are fans again, hearing some of the story right now.
Yeah.
And so I think I've been really encouraged just to say, and also to want to teach my kids this too, just like, be completely yourself. Be vulnerable. Let it all out. It's not always prime time.
Yeah.
And to that point, the guys I know with the best relationship with their dad, it's a vulnerable relationship. They don't look at him as some perfect superhero. And if they look at you like that and then they fuck up, then they're going to be like, look at my dad is perfect and I'm such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it actually is a detriment to them. So being vulnerable with them is the best thing you can do, I think.
Yeah, and that is really one of the silver linings in this is for them to see what I'm going through right now. To be able to talk to them about that. And I do think that's going to really make our relationship closer.
Did you ever have roid rage?
I don't know.
Liver Queen just laughed. She just snitched on you, bro.
Laughing and ducked.
I mean, I
How
would
far
say
can he
no.
throw a 100-pound dumbbell?
I've said this comment quite a bit. Like, in life, you get what you demand or you get what you tolerate. And I've never had a whole lot of patience. And I hold myself to the highest fucking standard, and I hold the people around me to a pretty high standard. That's never changed. Before, during, hopefully after, that will remain the same. So I don't believe I've ever. The thing is, I don't even drive. So
You don't drive?
Well, you can get angry.
can't-
not
come on,
driving.
dude.
I know. You know what? I correlated that with road.
Oh, no, right.
But in terms of being like at home and doing this
Why
thing,
would he ask you about driving?
You never get angry driving?
that's on me.
No, roid rage. You know what I mean? Like something happens, you're really frustrated, you want to get angry.
No. I don't think that's been an issue.
Never?
Well, listen, like I said, I mean, like I don't think it's increased at all.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never had a whole lot of patience. The whole demand and tolerate thing has always been, something I've had insight for.
So you're always raging.
Sure.
Exactly.
That's probably pretty accurate, actually. That's one thing that
So
Dyer,
your
the
kids are looking
CEO.
forward to you calming down. And they're like, no, he's just a dick all the time. It's not the steroids. It's just my dad.
That's right.